ES packing list.
So I think it's pretty simple. I don't know if I need to get all this stuff out here.
We could probably do a separate, but we just talk through.
I think we can talk through a lot of it.
Yeah. That was not very sour for. Well, it was very sour, but not for very long.
Yeah.
They have these aged duck eggs. I was thinking about getting them.
So there's a couple. There is a
They have
couple.
them at Jungle Gyms. Like
They got only the posh.
Jungle
Jungle Gyms.
I went to Jungle Gyms and I got these
That's my
things,
monocle.
yeah. My name is Seven. I go to Jungle Gyms.
G'day, mate.
I hate you all.
Yeah. So as you can see, my garbage kit, Agilite. I love them. This thing is actually kind of sour now as I'm starting to eat it. The biggest thing that I think that needs to go over, you need to have tourniquets. I don't actually have them put on the kit right now where I want them.
Speaking of that, real quick, starting next year, tourniquets, dead rags. Well, tourniquets for some events are going to be mandatory. Aureus bandages mandatory. Dead rags are definitely a mandatory.
You won't be let on the field without it.
Yeah, you won't. It
Continue on.
Tactical Velcro.
Yeah, we'll be checking your kits and stuff because we got too many people complaining about getting overshot.
Yep.
I should not have bought that.
I wish I could see what we're looking at.
Stand in front of the camera.
Is this going to be a full-on?
I hope you get
Oh, holy smokes.
Can we put that online?
Yeah, probably. He's got his... Make that the thumbnail.
Okay, back to seriousness.
All right, silence
Alright,
for...
we'll cut that out. But anyhow,
Oh, no,
The
you're
hell?
sending it to me.
Okay, explosive sunset.
what was I saying?
Your
Tourniquets.
tourniquets, and dead rags.
Dead rags.
Which
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to go over all that.
And your
anyway.
dead rags can be anything that's just red, but we will check that you got them.
Yep. So tourniquets and dead rags. So I guess the main items I would say that a requirement from the field that you need to have for explosive sunset specifically, tourniquets. You got to have them. You know, if you don't have them, we sell bandages. We sell tourniquets. Those bandages, you can cut them up, I think, in like 3 or 5.
I think it can come in half because they have to be 4 feet long.
Okay, so you can cut them in half, so you can get 2 bandages off of one
Yeah.
roll.
I think they're like $2.50 a piece.
And then, of course, the tourniquets. I prefer the tourniquets personally. That's what I use for all my stuff.
Oh, I bit into mine.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
And then as well, dead rags. So I know we have a couple different options. This is just one of our pull tab ones.
Yeah, our new ones.
So really useful. It's got a MOLLE strap, so you can just put it on your thing and then stuff it back in if you're not using it.
We have
Super
black,
useful.
green, and tan.
Get one of them. If you don't have one, you're not playing the game. You're not following the rules. So you definitely need to have one. If you're complaining about getting overshot and you don't have a dead rag, well, you can't complain because we have dead rags.
Or if your dead rag is tucked in between right here in your gear and tucked into your armpit or whatever, and you get shot from behind, like,
Yeah.
put the dead rag on your head.
That is another thing as well. I guess to chase a rabbit, don't be wearing red gear.
Yeah.
Like-
Red hats, red shirts,
It-
or whatever.
Even for our
Open
open
plays.
plays, it'll be banned.
And then like for night games and stuff, I think it needs to be said, unless we specifically stated or you're using it for something else, red lights mean you're dead.
Red lights will be mandatory for night games.
So we do sell, I don't have one on this kit right here, but we sell like a red push button. It flashes or it's a steady light. It is red, super useful. You can attach it onto your helmet. It's got Velcro on it.
Yep.
Attach it onto the front of your kit. I normally run mine somewhere on the front of my kit so that people can see me when I'm dead.
I run one on my head and I run one on my kit.
Just make sure to turn them off when you're not
Yeah.
dead.
Yep.
So, you know, having something red, having those TQs mandatory for those events. Then I think you kind of get into just like your general idea of stuff. In my opinion, everybody should have e-tape on them. E-tape fixes a lot of stuff. If you don't have,
Well, if we're just talking basics, I mean,
yeah, I
you
mean,
need a way to be medicked. You need some food, right? So
Yeah.
like bringing your lunch down, but also some like Cliff Bars,
Mhm.
protein bars, even like Jolly Ranchers, like get the sugar up, and then water.
yeah,
Like don't pull an all-nighter drinking beer all night. Drink water 2 days leading up to it. Like it's a hot event. You're wearing gear that's
But
heavy.
it's
You're
going to be
sweating
in
in.
March this year, so it's going to be a little cold still. But you
Even-
can still dehydrate in
Yeah.
the cold weather. So
and you can dehydrate just as fast in cold weather as you can in
Yeah.
hot weather.
yep.
And
So-
then a way to communicate.
So like on this kit, I have a water bladder inside here, and just I don't think the camera can see it. I just have it just run up through.
The fact that it's easier to heat cat when it's cold because you don't know you're dehydrated
Yeah.
because you're
Yep.
hot, you're not sweating until
Yep.
you start moving a lot.
So
Yep.
you definitely need a way to stay hydrated. Water bladders are great. If you don't have like
yeah,
a
we saw
pack,
Camelbacks.
yeah, if you
at the
don't
field.
have a pack to put on the back of your plate carrier, I think we have those Camelbacks like have straps that you can
Yeah.
put on.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Or
like
you
a
could be
backpack.
Old school like myself and go canteens.
Yeah, water bottles, anything you can do, stuff it somewhere in your kit. I think another thing to put out there is a lot of people weigh down their kit with too much stuff.
Too much stuff. Yep.
Yep.
So you're going to dehydrate faster because you're probably not used to running it that way. I like to try and keep it as minimal as possible. I got my mags, I got my BBs, I got gas, obviously, for my gas guns.
Speed loader.
Speed loaders. So like, I keep a speed loader inside of my dangler pouch.
Well, and this is what you took to that major event, right? You had a major event.
Yeah. So like anything like this, these I think are the best because like if you have empty mag pouches like on your belt or whatever, you stuff it right in there. It's like an M4 mag. Just something so that you can stay in the fight. I don't think that we're allowing reloading on the field at ES,
No.
so
Gotta
that'll
go back
be
to
at
your
your fob. So maybe it's not something that you need on your kit, but you definitely need it in like a go bag. I didn't bring one in with me, but definitely keeping a go bag.
Which
At
that, I
your
mean that
fob
can
is
be
something that
anything
you
as
need.
a JanSport backpack, or you can get a $400 Go Ruck bag, like anything in between. And so I think that's like, again, those pieces of kit that we're moving from open play to like explosive sunset, so that we can get to some of these higher tier type things where, hey, you're out on the field for 12 hours like nonstop. We're not there yet,
Yeah.
But I think that like, hey, having a backpack, and I mean, we don't need some packing list for your backpack, but like if you're not going to leave the field, so think, what do I need on the field at all times to keep me going, whether I'm resting or whether I'm actually playing, because that fob's going to be always accessible. You can go back to the fob at any point in time, and that's where you could take some rest and refit and reload. So it is going to be a transition. So maybe at some of the open plays, if you want to get yourself ready for Explosive Sunset in March, then hey, I'm not going to reload until we break the game is over, right? So that can simulate only reloading to the fob. Or what we used to do gear shakedowns. We used to go to open plays, dress and play exactly like we would for the milsim, the local milsim, and we do that 3 or 4 times leading up to the event. So hey, I know comms work. I know this placement of pouches. I know my bladder works. I know I've got enough water for all day. I know what snacks I need, where it is, and how it's easily accessible. Because that's the last thing you want to do is be trying to figure that out game day of a higher tier event.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said there with, comms, obviously squad leads required to have a radio.
Yeah.
Backup radio.
So if you don't have a radio, we sell them. I recommend running at least have extra batteries or at minimum 2 radios. Get you a good antenna for it. Those rubber duckies actually work just fine that come with them. Or whip antenna. I think that's what
Yeah.
comes with them now is whip antennas or
Yeah.
something.
Well, radios is a whole
Radios, if you
rabbit
don't
trail.
have a hand mic, you're playing it wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say that.
So I would definitely argue against getting a 5R.
Overheated?
Yeah. This one never overheats. What's going on with that guy?
Maybe that one because those two are in the light.
Yeah.
Just built better.
Yeah. But I would argue against getting a 5R because they're just cheap junk. Even though they advertise like a certain wattage, it's rare that you ever get anywhere near it. We sell the
UV9 Pro.
9R Pro and the 13R Pro. They're both weather resistant, water resistant, all that stuff. They get closer to the advertised wattage, and the Motorola one here, that's the 9R, is probably the best one that we sell because it's completely enclosed. A lot of times you'll have it like even with like the 82s and so on and so forth. The Kenwood connectors, the 2-prong on the side, those get in your pouch, they'll wobble around and they'll break the internal connectors off. And with the Motorola's, you don't have that. We do also sell the Motorola to Kenwood adapter in our shop so that you can still plug in your older headsets or whatever as well.
It's just a more stable connection. I mean, if you guys have ever ran around in the woods, like stuff comes unplugged,
Yeah.
super easy. Those, I don't really have any issues out of mine. Of course, I got a hand mic set up on it right now. If you just run it in your pouch without a hand mic, you're probably not going to hear it.
Yeah. Be a detriment to your team.
Yeah, so you want to set it up in a place where it's not going to be triggered all the time, where you're going to have easy access to communicate and do those things without like bumping it and, you know.
Everybody loves the little hot mic, you know.
Yeah.
And I would probably say too, I think we've had better luck with these 9Rs and 13Rs than we have like with the 82s or the 5s
I have.
or any others because I don't. It's just maybe the quality is better in them or something. I
If
don't
you're
know.
running 2 radios, like there's split connectors out there to be able to plug them up and run 2 radios on one PTT. I have a Code Red one. It's okay, but I think there's other brands out there. I can't think of their names right now, but
I'm not a radio
just
guy.
kind of look into it. If it's, I will say, if you're going to like Explosive Sunset and you're trying out brand new gear, don't do that.
Not a good idea.
You definitely want to try out your year prior, make sure everything's kosher.
And work in your boots.
Yeah.
Good footwear and work them in prior to the event. Like walk in them, wear them to work. Don't make it an 8-hour airsoft day the first time you wear your boots.
One thing
Yeah.
I'll say also, like in this kit that I have, extra socks. Put them in a Ziploc bag, stuff them in your kit somewhere.
Yeah, that'll save your day.
Like, I mean, if it's going to be a march, so expect there to probably be a little bit of mud, a little bit of wetness. Halfway through the day, I always, if I'm encountering that type of terrain, I change my socks. Because if you don't, you're just going to tear up your feet. You're not going to have
Yeah.
fun.
Jungle Ride is not cool.
No.
And get the darn tough socks.
per day.
Another thing I'll say,